The Netherlands shouldn't exist. Not in the way we define countries, not where it sits on the map. This is a place that defies nature itself. A third of its land lies below sea level, and more than half is classified as flood-prone. If the electricity cut out and the pump stopped running, 40% of the country would disappear underwater. Not in theory, but in days. While most nations build walls, armies, and alliances to protect themselves from other countries, the Dutch fight a different kind of enemy, the ocean, and somehow they keep winning. The Netherlands is not a natural country, it's a machine, a living, breathing system powered by physics, software, and constant human oversight. Beneath its tidy towns and farmland is a vast network of canals, dikes, floodgates, levees, and more than 100,000 pumps, all working in real time to drain water away from land that sits below sea level. This is active defense, not passive survival. Every drop of rain, every high tide, every river that flows in from neighboring countries is part of a constant hydraulic battle. Sensors and AI-driven water forecasting systems monitor the entire landscape. Pumping stations respond instantly to rainfall, to tide conditions, and to temperature shifts. Regional water boards, called waterschappen, operate like miniature governments, some of them with histories dating back over 700 years, older than the country itself. Some Dutch neighborhoods are separated from riverbanks by just a few vertical inches. Without dikes and pumps, towns like Rotterdam or Gouda wouldn't just flood, they'd vanish. That level of vulnerability might seem unsustainable, but here it's engineered into the national mindset. Because the Dutch don't see their landscape as fixed, they see it as something to be managed, shaped, and, if necessary, redesigned. On January 31st, 1953, the sea reminded the Netherlands just how unforgiving it could be. A powerful European windstorm pushed water from the North Sea into the southwest coast. It was a full moon. The tide was high. The defenses broke. Entire dikes collapsed. Water surged across farmland and into villages. By morning, 1,836 people were dead. Tens of thousands were left homeless. It was the worst flood in modern Dutch history, and one of Europe's worst peacetime disasters. The country responded the only way it knew how, not by retreating, but by building. Out of that disaster came the Delta Works, a colossal engineering system of dams, sluices, storm barriers, and seawalls. The most famous of them, the Maeslantkering near Rotterdam, looks like something from a sci-fi film. Two enormous floating arms, each the length of the Eiffel Tower laid on its side, swing closed across a major shipping canal when sea levels rise too high. It's only been activated twice, but it's designed to stop the kind of flood that happens once every 10,000 years. The Delta Works did more than protect the coastline. It redefined what flood defense could look like. Not just walls, but moving parts, sensors, algorithms, and systems that anticipate the sea's behavior in advance. But even that massive achievement is now under pressure because the threats have changed. Sea levels have already risen by more than 8 inches since 1900. That might not sound dramatic until you realize that every additional centimeter increases storm surge risk exponentially. The Netherlands is already fighting gravity 24/7. A few inches more water from climate change forces entire systems to operate harder, faster, and longer with less room for error. But the sea isn't the only problem anymore. The atmosphere now holds more moisture, which means heavier rainfall. And heavier rain means more pressure on rivers, like the Rhine, the Meuse, and the IJssel, all of which carry water into the Netherlands from upstream countries. Flood risk now comes from both sides, rising tides from the coast and rising rivers from inland Europe. Some Dutch cities, like Rotterdam and The Hague, are also subsiding, sinking slowly over time as water is pumped from soft, compressible soils. It's a slow-motion collapse happening underneath a fast-rising ocean. In short, the country is being squeezed, from above, from below, and from within. And that's why the Dutch had to pivot, not just defending against water, but rethinking their entire relationship with it. In the early 2000s, the Netherlands launched a radical program called Room for the River. The idea was counterintuitive. Stop fighting water at every turn. Start making space for it. Instead of raising dikes endlessly higher, engineers began moving some dikes back. They carved new river channels, restored floodplains, and gave rivers room to overflow safely. In cities like Nijmegen, an entire riverfront was redesigned, turning flood-prone land into green parks and controlled flood zones. During extreme rainfall, those parks flood on purpose, absorbing pressure from nearby neighborhoods. It's water management by design, not desperation. Room for the River was a turning point. It marked the beginning of a new philosophy. Don't try to conquer water, live with it. That philosophy has since been applied across the country, from the urban canals of Utrecht to the redesigned wetlands of Limburg. During the devastating floods in Western Europe in 2021, cities in the Netherlands that had implemented this approach stayed dry, even as cities across the border in Germany and Belgium suffered billions in damages. But the real breakthrough came when the Dutch stopped thinking in two dimensions and started building upward. In a neighborhood outside Amsterdam, there's a row of sleek, modern homes that look like something out of an architecture magazine, but they float. These houses are built on concrete pontoons, anchored to pilings and connected to flexible sewer and power lines. When the water rises, they rise. When it falls, they settle back down. This is not a concept or a prototype. People live here. Dutch architects like Koen Oltage are designing entire amphibious neighborhoods, not just houses, but schools, playgrounds, hospitals, and roads, all built to flex with rising and falling water levels. These are not defensive structures, they're adaptive ones. And the world is paying attention. Dutch firms are now consulting on floating schools in Lagos, flood-resistant housing in Dhaka, and even seawall design for New York City. Their engineers are helping plan Jakarta's giant seawall, London's Thames Estuary 2100 project, and coastal infrastructure for low-lying nations like the Maldives. What the Netherlands offers isn't just technology, it's a mindset. The idea that you don't have to wait for the ocean to win, you can meet it halfway. Every year, countries send engineers, planners, and climate officials to the Netherlands to study how this place works. They walk the Delta Works. They tour water plazas in Rotterdam, public spaces that double as rainwater retention basins. And they leave with the same message. There's no magic solution, just systems, constant maintenance, long-term planning, and a deep understanding that water doesn't respect political borders. In the Netherlands, flood prevention isn't handled by emergency services. It's embedded into schools, infrastructure, real estate, and zoning law. Kids learn about water management before they hit middle school. Developers are legally required to build with space for drainage and retention. This kind of cultural integration is hard to replicate, but essential, because the Netherlands isn't just protecting its land, it's showing the rest of us what's coming and how to face it. The Netherlands is an argument in physical form. It says we don't have to lose our cities, we don't have to run from our coastlines, and we don't have to wait for disaster before we act. This country was built from swamps and marshes, drained lake by lake, farm by farm. It's a nation that literally created itself, and then spent centuries maintaining that creation every single day. Its survival is not a fluke, it's not luck. It's the result of long-term planning, constant innovation, and an unshakable belief in the value of adaptation. The Dutch don't pretend the ocean isn't coming, they know it is, and they're already building the future they'll need to live with it. The Netherlands shouldn't exist, but it does. Not because it beat nature, but because it learned how to live alongside it. In a century where rising seas, stronger storms, and sinking cities will define our future, this small country on the edge of Europe might just be the blueprint that helps the rest of us survive. It's not about building taller walls, it's about changing the way we think before the tide reaches our doorstep. Because when you look at a map and see the Netherlands, you're not just seeing a country, you're seeing a plan. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Netherlands history, it would mean a lot if you would hit that like button and subscribe to Borderline History. Your support really keeps this channel going. And if you want more fascinating map-based history, check out our latest video, The Map That Created Israel and Palestine. I think you will love it.